Hello and welcome to the Kiss My Asparagus podcast. I'm your host, Latasha, and today I have a special guest for you guys. I have Miss Valencia Hargrove here with me, and we're going to talk about her 3-decade-long plant-based lifestyle journey. All right, so Miss Valencia, I'm excited to have you as a guest here today. We're going to discuss your plant-based journey. I'm assuming you've been on this journey for decades at this point. But so I sent you a few questions, and the first question I have for you is, what initially inspired you to adopt a plant-based lifestyle, and what was the transition like when you started years ago?
Okay, so I started in 1981.
Oh, wow.
I went to college. Yeah, probably before you were born.
Yes.
And what initiated was really about, I didn't like the food that the college was offering. And so a good friend of mine named was Cindy said, hey, she was a vegetarian. And I was like, well, what is that? And she said, I don't eat meat. I'm like, oh, okay. So it just literally started like that. But interestingly enough, when you start a journey, you don't realize the things that you're changing. Mm-hmm. That's how it's going to affect you, your physical being.
Yeah.
So I used to have very, very hard cycles. And when I changed, I didn't even realize that's what it was doing it. That was causing my cycles not to be hard anymore. But I stopped having these really bad cycles. Mm. That was the first thing I think I really, really noticed.
So you kept it going from that.
And the journey was, I kind of liked it. It was like, I wasn't a big eater anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, I ate it because I was told to, or, I grew up eating. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I didn't care for beef. The only thing I did like was chicken. And so I think at the time I was more of a pescatarian because I did eat fish. So today it will be called a pescatarian. So that initially started my journey.
Gotcha. Okay, that's interesting because I could say that my cycle was a part of one of the reasons that I started too, because I remember I was like 16 maybe, and my period just like totally stopped for like 6 months. And I went to the doctor and he diagnosed me with something called PCOS. And I asked him, how does that happen? Like, why is this happening to me? And he's like, oh, I don't know. It just happens. Some people are genetically predisposed. And as I grew older and started to learn more and look deeper into things, that's when I decided to change my diet, and it like totally changed my menstrual every month too. So that's interesting to know. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I started. Mm-hmm. And then as I went on, I fine-tuned. I started being more in tune with things that I wasn't even aware. It actually awakened me in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. So I became more aware what foods was doing what, and what it was making me feel, what foods were making me feel different ways. So the next stage, it was when it was my 40th birthday, and this guy I knew, he had went on a retreat, and he said he stopped eating fish. He said because it's not FDA regulated. He started telling me all this stuff, and that day I said, you know what? I'm not going to eat any more seafood. And I stopped.
Okay.
It was like, and the reason why I know it was my 40th birthday is because that was his birthday, and I was the same day, and it was around that time. Cause he had went to, I think, it was a retreat in Vermont.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a retreat in Vermont.
Okay, that's
And
interesting. That's something I didn't know, is that the fish wasn't regulated by the FDA at all. So we just get
no, only
anything.
this is his package. If
Okay.
it's packaged, of course it's going to be regulated. But if it's from the sea, it goes from the sea to the plate.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, for the most part.
So, how has the perception of veganism or a plant based lifestyle for you changed over the past several decades, both socially and in the medical community also?
So for me, doing plant based or becoming a vegan or being more conscious about what it is that I eat I think it's given me more endurance. It actually, for someone, I think that's 61, I don't know what 61 is supposed to look like,
Not like
but
that.
I think it also has, oh, okay. Well, I think it's made me more in tune to things that goes around me. I'm more sensitive, but not super sensitive where I'm emotionally sensitive. But far as I'm more of an empath, it's like I can feel things. Like I'm more in tune because I'm not so much trying to. Food is not like the base of my whole life. It's important in my life, but it's not like it doesn't govern every moment. Like most people use food as for social events.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people don't really like to invite you out to eat because they be like, oh, we don't know what to feed you and those kind of things. And I'm like, sometimes it's okay to just be present and just, I can just drink some water and I'm good with that. Because food doesn't necessarily make me feel like that's the only part of me. Has to make me feel like I'm social to connect with folks. Gotcha. So I think becoming more plant-based, and when I say plant-based, I'm not talking about processed plant-based, because we know that there's a lot of what's going on now is the industry has made a lot of processed plant-based food, which I don't necessarily support that in my diet. Yeah. What I don't do, I don't think when people ask me or people consult me on how do I live and what am I doing, and, how long I've been doing it, I tell them it's my journey. And, you have to start where you're comfortable and where you feel like you want to be committed to. Everybody can't be as maybe hardcore or something as I did. Because, I went into the military and I was a vegetarian. And I literally was true to my core for how I ate. Like MREs, I ate the vegetarian meals out of it. And, I did what was necessary and I think it also helped me sustain where I was like you. I didn't have a cycle for the whole time I was in basic training. And I think because my diet wasn't so rigid, I didn't feel out of place not having it though. I wasn't I wasn't having the symptoms that I needed to have it.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So, what do you think the biggest challenges are that you face maintaining a plant-based lifestyle, and how did you overcome them?
Well, a lot of times when I travel, I would tend to bring some food that makes sense for me, so that I can at least have the first couple of days to figure out how to navigate my travel.
Yeah.
So that means I'll make foods that, or I'll have, unless it's international. If it's international, I can't bring food and stuff like that. But like if it's, for the most part, the world is being a lot more kinder than it was when I first started this journey. You know, there's a little bit more, people are being, even when I went to Egypt and when I went to overseas, they tend to be more considerate, or more, they had more food available than I would have realized.
Okay.
So it really wasn't that much of a challenge. I think that when you know your why and why you're doing something, you stay the course.
Yeah.
Because you know how it makes you feel. You know?
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
And I think that's important.
Yeah. And you know, in my journey, there has been things in life that made me forget. And when I would fall back into, you know, whatever bad habits I had, I will be quickly reminded that this is why you stay plant-based, because you don't feel great when you're not on that diet, when you're not eating the way you should. But can you describe any major health benefits you've experienced as a result of being plant-based outside of your menstrual?
Yes. So I used to have I was very sensitive to a lot of food that I ate, and I didn't know it. I didn't realize that wheat was it was not processing well with me. And because I think it is part of, I'm on an anti-inflammatory diet as well. So I'm just not a vegan, but I'm also mindful the different things that I put, like far as tomatoes. Like I can make a tomato sauce and it doesn't have the effect on me as if I ate a tomato.
Okay.
So I know that doing a plant-based diet, I was able to recover from some real stressful situations in my life, such as I had like 6 mini strokes.
Oh, wow. I never knew that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes. But because of my lifestyle, I didn't have any paralysis. I didn't have any side effects that would have left me in a way where I could have been left in a way.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Meaning that I could have been really, sorry.
Yeah, I was just listening.
Yeah, I could have been a lot.
Yeah, so no.
Yeah, I could have been a lot. I could have been a lot more if I was eating as reckless as if I was eating reckless and really not being mindful of my diet. I think it would have left me in a really more challenging way. But because of my diet, I think, and through the grace of God as well, it didn't. It did do some things to me, but it left things that I've now been reversing.
So have you seen any shifts in the food industry's approaches to plant-based options?
Oh yeah. You know, now you get anything you want through plant-based. I mean, from vegan cheese to vegan mayonnaise to, but I would suggest, I'm old school, and I thank God that I'm kind of on the old school level. So I look to make a lot of my things. There's some things that I do. I have go-tos too. I think one of my guilty pleasures is probably vegan cheese.
Okay. What
Yeah.
brand? What brand would you suggest?
Actually, Trader Joe's has a good burger.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
There's some more different ones. Dida is another one. I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so. What I will not do is be a commercial for it.
Okay.
Because I plan to make my own vegan cheese.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm not gonna give a lot of commercials on somebody's vegan cheese.
Gotcha.
But the Trader Joe's, I think, has a good plant-based vegan cheese, pretty much.
Okay.
But I think you can do some pine nuts. You can really be able to create something, a sauce that will give you that. It might not be the cheese, but it might give you a feel that will replace that, by using pine nuts and nutritional yeast and maybe some lemon or lime, something like that.
Okay.
And and you can kind of experiment with different seasons and stuff, like different herbs and spices. Herbs and spices, man.
Yeah.
If you got them in your house, then you can make food taste like you. But how do you want it to taste?
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to someone just starting their vegan journey or their plant-based journey?
Mm-hmm. What was the question again?
What advice would you give someone just starting their journey?
Be kind of yourself. Listen to your body when you've done it somewhat of a time, and then you try to put it back in there and it isn't working. Listen to why it's not working.
Okay.
Start off where it makes sense for you.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, you might not go hardcore as I did, but just make the adjustments that need to be made. And as time, if you've done this long enough, you're going to find out, your body's going to tell you, this is not working.
Yeah.
It's literally going to let you know what is working and what is not.
Okay. So, have there been any misconceptions or myths about plant-based that you've encountered repeatedly over the years?
What about? Yeah, people, they're fat vegans.
Yeah.
they're because what tends to happen is, because even myself, when I first got started, I did a lot of carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Because those were the things I didn't know what to feel to eat to really to sustain myself. So I wasn't as clean doing this. And like for me, I can't do tofu. Somebody else, can do tofu.
From what I hear, tofu is real estrogenic, so I try to stay away from it too.
Yes, it is. I think it is too. I have no what is scientific proof of it, but I believe for me, it had a lot of. It also added a lot of problems that didn't make sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
I suffered more from arthritic kind of things with my joints and stuff like that, and I think that was it could have been genetic, but I felt like I reversed those genetics.
Absolutely, and that's what I want people to understand on this podcast is that you can reverse a lot of things, and that there's unfortunately a lot of misunderstanding and misconceptions about what to eat and not eat. And I've been kind of a few of my friends, my male friends, have been telling me about this carnivore diet that's driving me nuts. And I'm like, you guys do not need to jump on this bandwagon of this carnivore diet, eating all meat, because it's so not good for you. Like you're just increasing your risk for so many issues. But the benefit is that they're losing weight, but it's just like, okay, yeah, you're cutting the carbs and you're losing weight because of cutting those carbs in that processed food. But at the same time, you're increasing your risk for gout, kidney stones, heart attack, stroke. But yeah, it's this fad that's going around, and it's frustrating. I have to tell my friends about themselves, and I'm like, no, y'all need to be a little bit more, getting more fruit and vegetables in your diet, not just meat. That's ridiculous. But yeah, so what were you saying?
And I do intermittent fasting. Like intermittent fast first.
Yes, intermittent fasting. Yes, I've heard that intermittent fasting has been doing wonders for people as far as weight management goes. Me personally, I tend to do like long-term fasts. I want to start intermittent fasting, but I'll do like the most I've done is like 21 days fasting.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know, it gives me clarity. I like to do it, but that's just me personally. But I think fasting daily will probably have more long-term benefits. So I'm going to start trying to...
But you know what? They say that, actually, it's proven that fasting, it does bring clarity. It brings you in a state of, because your body has a chance to rest. Mm-hmm. And most times, our body does not have a chance to rest because we tend to break fast. We're breaking our fast. So if you think of breakfast, it's like the pyramid, food pyramid. All of these things that we were taught. If you really look at it, I'm not no scholar of scripture or anything, but this has been biblical. Fasting has been biblical forever. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really has. This is nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. It's just that now people being more aware and starting to awaken to maybe there's a better way out than what we are out here practically doing. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, what are some of your go-to meals or recipes? What are some of your go-to meals or recipes?
What's my go-to?
That stood this test of time, like a go-to recipe that you always make.
I love oyster mushrooms.
Okay. What do you make?
That's my fried chicken.
That's your fried chicken?
Yeah, sometimes that can be my fried chicken.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll take, of course I make it gluten-free. I get gluten-free flour and I put a lot of different seasoned curry, whatever, and bread it up and just lightly bread it. And let's put in some avocado oil or the other oil I use is because it has a high heat index. Mm-hmm. Is avocado oil or grapeseed oil.
Okay, I was gonna ask you, do you like grapeseed oil? Do you like grapeseed oil better than olive oil?
They're about equal to me.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. I think grapeseed oil, I can go to Costco's and get it. It's cheaper. But it's organic. I try to stay in the organic line if I could. You got a lot of people who don't even do oils. They have these diets and things and I have yet to get there. I don't know if I have been called to do that. But who knows?
Okay.
There's no salt, no sugar, and no oil.
Okay.
But I'm not quite there.
So.
And I haven't felt the need to do that.
Gotcha. So how do you approach balance and variety in your diet to ensure that you're getting all the necessary nutrients?
So I love kale. I love spinach. I do a lot of juicing. Let's see. I do a lot of. It's a myth about protein. I think.
Yeah.
I think protein is a myth. I really do. I mean, even though today I'm drinking what you see me drinking is protein drink. It's actually I put some strawberries and bananas in because I was cleaning all day and I didn't really want to eat a heavy meal today, so I just made this protein drink, which it's cool. I'm good with it. But what I'm saying is, I think there is balance. I do nuts, but I'm also very mindful how many nuts I'm encountering.
Mm-hmm.
Because nuts can be, especially if it's certain nuts can cause mucus, like cashews.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. It can be because cashews can be a very. I mean, I love cashews. Don't get it wrong. Love cashews, but I also have to be mindful how many ingest because I do feel it when I do a lot of nuts and stuff like that. Okay. So my balance of my diet comes from I love quinoa. I'm not a rice eater, but I love some quinoa. I make flaxseed bread for my dehydrator. I have a dehydrator.
Okay.
Like when I was working at raw food restaurant, I decided to get all these tools in my kitchen so I can prepare myself. If I want to do raw, do raw. If I want to just do whatever, like I'll make raw brownie.
Which was amazing.
That's sweet. It's something sweet to eat.
Now, what did you put in that to sweeten it?
You had some. Okay.
Yeah. What did you have in it?
Dates.
Dates to sweeten
it. Was dates.
And you gave me a beet popsicle. You gave me a beet popsicle, which I loved. I'm going to try that.
Right. And, yeah, so my thing was, what can I get? I stopped buying vegan ice cream and all that. Mm-hmm. Like, I can do this stuff myself. So, and I can know what it is that I'm ingesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I juice for my church. It's a fundraiser. Like, 1 week I vent for them, and then another week I vent for myself to buy my supplies. But most of the proceeds go to my church. And it just started like that. It just started, I love it. It kind of grounds me when I'm juicing. So I have a cold press juicer. Someone actually gave that to me. It's a Green Star Pro, and I actually have two juicers because I have another Green Star, but it's not the Pro. But it's probably as valuable as that one. But so I juice, and I do spinach, kale, burdock root, ginger, Granny Smith apples. Depends on. I try to keep fruit that's in season, but sometimes they're not. I'm just gonna be truthful. And I do pineapples usually as a sweetener because the people I've been for, you have to make sure they have a palate. And of course, I put beets in it. Beets is sweet in itself.
Yeah.
It's sugar. There's a lot of sugar in it as well. So, but
okay. Well,
so I don't know if I covered the diet. How I get my nutrients. Of course, in the winter time, I do a lot of soups.
Okay.
The lentils and those kind of things.
Yeah, I tend to go to this Indian place or this Mediterranean place around the corner from my house and get this lentil soup. But I'm sure I can make it on my own. I need to make an effort to start making more of my food. And I definitely want to get a juicer and to start juicing. Now I have like a blender, so I'll have like these shakes, I guess, but So do you think juicing or doing the shake, is there any difference in benefit, you think, or is it just a matter of what you want, or what your preference is? Do you think you're extracting more nutrients if you're juicing, or?
I think juicing, I'm going to tell you what. So, now this is my truth. I'm going to always speak truth. So one day, a friend of mine, and I told her I didn't feel like I was supposed to have to do this with her, but she wanted me on this juice fast with her. But it actually elevated my glucose.
Oh.
It was way too much.
Okay.
But I felt it. I really literally felt the difference of me doing this. And I'm off. Felt off. So for me to do that juice fast wasn't something that necessarily felt, it was a little too much for me.
Okay.
That's why I say you have to listen to your body.
Yeah.
What it is you're supposed to be doing and what you're not supposed to be doing. Like, I love flax seeds, and I'll make flax seed bread or chips or whatever it is, and I'll put some almond butter on it, and man, that's just a meal in itself. Or I'll make chickpea salad.
Okay.
And so a chickpea salad is like a tuna fish kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I make that.
That sounds good.
Oh, it's really good. And I have this black salt that I get from the farmer's market. And it tastes like you got eggs without it being eggs.
Okay. I'm going to have to try that. That's a new one I never heard of. So I'm going to definitely try that. Well, any other tips before I let you go?
There's so many.
Any other recipes you can think of?
I think that, I love, when this time of the season is happening, when the weather's changing, because I'm a big soup person. I love soups, so I'll start exploring my soups and stuff like that. And like doing not so many beans, I don't care for. And I try to neutralize my beans by putting either apple cider vinegar in it, soaking them in apple cider vinegar or some little distilled vinegar.
Okay.
So it becomes so gassy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's another tip.
Soaking
Good
them.
to know.
Yeah, soaking them overnight or whatever have you. Food to the list. My go-to is I love kale. I'm a big kale eater. Like love kale. Love oyster mushrooms. I love lentils. I love plantains. I love. There's so many foods that I get excited about. I love beets. Mm-hmm. I love just roasted beets and stuff like that. So it's just, and you make food, you present food, like when you plate your food, make it look pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just something about when it looks nice, you go, wow, this looks really good. And then it tastes good.
Yeah. Well, Valencia, thank you so much for all your tips and letting.
Well, thank you. I hope I was okay.
Yeah. Do you have any parting words for us before we go?
Wherever you're at in your journey, be kind to yourself. Listen to your body. And, start it where it makes sense for you. Don't, I think we have all these expectations that people put us on us, what we should look like or what we should be doing or whatever. But just start your journey, and wherever it leads you, just fine tune it as you go along.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and sharing your journey with us. All right. Well,
thank you.
Thanks again. We'll talk again soon.
You're welcome. Love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye. So that's our show for today. Thanks again to Valencia for her insights. And until next time, I'm your host, Latasha, at Kiss My Asparagus Podcast, where you get the real on health and nutrition. Thanks for listening. Until next time.